Hey everyone, this is Pixels and Pins, and we're pulling up to Ikkicon currently. This is a local con. It's our first one of the year. It's our first time actually going to this one, even though it's local because we're just, relatively new to the con scene, so to speak. And it's gonna be fun. This is day one. We're gonna have a hell of a good time. Video do you prefer? What is it? There's a Moogle. There's a Moogle on the ground. It's a Moogle on the ground. We're waiting for our first panel to go in. We're kind of like, it's the first day, a three-day con, so things are a little slow still. But we're basically waiting for our first panel, and it's gonna be cool. So, after waiting in the foyer for literally forever, it felt like, we were finally able to get into the Jessica Calvello Q&A panel. Jessica Calvello being the voice actress for the current iteration of Hanji in Attack on Titan and Attack on Titan Junior High, and she's also in Brunhilde, Brunhilde in the Darkness as Takatori? Great name. Great name for a weird show. Really great. She's super, super duper high energy, like we all are. Most interesting thing, she told us about working with, getting the part for Hanji, how much she loves Hanji as a character, and how excited she was to voice her. Jessica's also done a lot of work with, Cyanide and Happiness shorts. If you're not familiar with Cyanide and Happiness, I love Cyanide and Happiness. And she's also Rip Van Winkle in the Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. So, it was really cool getting to hear her talk about those two things, and how both different and similar they are to working with some of the bigger studios, because I believe she's also worked with ADV. But super fun, really high energy, really great gal, lady, person. Girl, what is frick? And I got to ask her about, getting to work with the two different studios and what it's like, and she talked about just really bunch of really awesome cool things and getting in the industry. It was really funny because she's like, so who here was born before 1995? And 4 of us raise our hands. Everyone else is a teenager. She's like, yeah, that's when I started in voice acting. And we're like, wow. And we all felt really old, all 4 of us, or I guess 5 including her, felt extremely old. What was really fun is at the very end of her panels, she likes to do a weird, like, funny photo that is themed off of whatever happened to have happened during the panel. And so our theme for our photo was short people who need to pee, because we talked about Levi being super short, and she was super short in her own opinion, and she had to pee the whole panel. And so afterward, we had intended to go to an autograph session with her, but afterward I approached her because there had been an interaction before via the internet where she had been made aware of the fact that I was going to be bringing her a hat. And so I come up to her and I was like, hey, it's Jessica, I have a hat for you. And she stops for a second and she goes, oh my God. And so I pull it out and she's like, oh my God, put it on me. And I'm like, okay. I give her a hat and she's like, I'm gonna take a selfie. And she wants me to get in it. And that was really a lot of fun. It's really cool when I get to give stuff away and get to see their reaction. And that was a lot of fun. And so the next thing we did was obviously go on to her autograph panel. And so what was really fun about the autograph panel, it wasn't just her, it was also Kylie Bear. And I met Kylie Bear back last year at RealmsCon. Kylie Bear being the voice of Gohan and Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And it was really great to see Kylie Bear again, even though I got to see him once before and I gave him his hat then. Because I'd forgotten to bring my Fire Emblem Awakening game sleeve with me last time, so I was like, yay, now I get to get it signed, woo! And what's really good about Kylie Bear is he is one of those voice actors, and I've met a couple of them so far, that when you hand them the thing to get signed, they look at it immediately and immediately say whatever line it is from that show, game, whatever, that is like their big line. So I slide my Fire Emblem Awakening game case across the table to him, and he looks at it and goes, pick a god and pray, just immediately. And I'm like, you said the line! And I felt like a giant fucking dork. but it was also just like, and so he signs it, and there'd been a little bit of a delay in getting to see Jessica, and I was telling him about one of my friends who's also in the LOZ voice acting group, who had missed him at one of the conventions that she had gone to, and so beforehand I had been texting her, hey, I'm gonna go see Kylie Bear. And she's like, no! I was like, what do you want me to tell him? I'm gonna deliver a message. She's like, ah! And so when I see him, I was like, so yeah, my friend was a really big fan of yours, but she missed you at Geekonomicon, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, and, what a bummer that she missed me. I wish I could get to meet her. And it was just really cute, even though he was probably just faking it, because, actor. But still, it was fun. And then, of course, I get to see Jessica right after that. She's like, hey, how you doing? Because she remembered me, because we literally just seen her, 5 minutes before. And she was able to sign my really lovely Hanji character card that she seemed really impressed with. And I'm like, I don't know why. It's just a picture of Hanji on a piece of paper. Whatever. But she signs it. Ashley, I love my hat so much. EXO, Jessica Calvello. I'm so touched. Actually, I really am. I don't want to seem sarcastic, because I actually really am. Because she's like, what do I sign it to? And I was like, oh, I don't know, hi, hat. Because that's all I had. And it was also really funny because the guy right ahead of me was in a Matt Smith Doctor Who outfit, and she was like, oh my god, I love Doctor Who, and so she's asking him to get in a selfie with her, and you could just see his face be like, oh my god, I'm in a selfie with Jessica Calvello, and so that's really cool. And she's like, I took the picture, so she hands me her phone, she's like, take a picture of us. I'm like, okay, do you want your phone back, Jessica? And she almost forgot to take it back. So again, always really great to see all that happen and see them all be so excited. Now we're in the con still. We're gonna go to this really cool bento place that's over around the corner that we're hoping not a lot of people know about. They're probably dashing to it now. It's probably those people dashing to it in the distance. We'll see what happens. It'll probably be instantly full considering how many otakus are in one place. As we suspected, the bento place was super busy. So we're at the burger place next door. It's Five Guys. Super tasty. The best part is look at all the con attendees. So we ended up picking a couple more panels we wanted to go through over the course of the day after lunch. And the next one we actually only went to as kind of an interstitial panel. We were waiting for somebody else to start. And it was a leatherworking panel by a cosplayer and a costume technician based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Her name is Heidi O'Farrell. And I went and found her later on Tumblr. Atelier Heidi is her Tumblr. I'm going to put a link to that down in the description. And it was actually a really interesting leatherworking panel. It was very brief. It was very very succinct because you really couldn't do much in the space allotted. But it was really cool to see what someone professional can actually do with just leather. And the big takeaway from it was actually that I need to do some more research on this, but a lot of the things that one could do with like Warbler foam and Eva foam and stuff, Warbler and Eva foam, is doable in leather for almost the exact same price, if not a little bit cheaper, according to her, based off what you can get at places like Tandy Leather. And you can still do the metal, and you can still do impressions, and it's a lot sturdier, so the cost efficiency is actually a lot higher. Only drawback being it's a lot more toxic working with leather, is what I learned. And so I've been thinking about doing leather working and seeing the equipment that she needs. I'm really gonna need to build a studio, so it's gonna be a while for I get to do that. So I'm a little bummed, but it happens. So one of the last panels I went to is actually the panel I was probably looking forward to the most, and that is the Greg Ayres voice actor panel. Greg Ayres, oh my god, I'm such a huge fan of Greg Ayres. Oh my god. He's everybody. He's Nagisa in Free right now is his big one, and his other, I think probably his next biggest role will be Kaoru Hitachin in Ouran High School Host Club. He's been doing this 30 years. Not 30. He's been doing it for a long time. He started back at ADV. He's in Ghost Stories. He's huge. He's one of those actors. He also DJs his raves and stuff. It's another big part of his career. And it's really interesting when he walks in because you can hear it immediately. He's one of those voice actors whose voice is so distinctive. I've met a couple so far that are like that. That the minute you hear him, you're like, well, that's him. That's Greg Ayres. Hey, that's Greg. So it was really interesting just to hear him talk in general about being in the industry, and he told some really awesome stories. We ever go to a Greg Ayres panel, ask about staying in a hotel room where someone was murdered. That's an awesome story that I could not tell. I could not give it justice. Another really great story is getting to talk about ghost stories. He loves talking about ghost stories, apparently. I thought it'd be one of those things he hated talking about, but apparently he loves it. So you can ask about it. You're allowed. If you're not familiar with ghost stories, go look it up. It is an incredible show. Just everything about it is so hilarious. Another my big takeaway from his panel was that he's not always done voice acting. He used to work like an office where he got screamed at by lawyers, was his reference point that he kept referring to, and that was encouraging because it's always good to hear about the careers beforehand of people who you really look up to, and like, okay, how did they get to where they are? Am I doing everything right? I don't know anymore. And so that was really cool to hear. For me personally, it was really cool to hear about the life before voice acting. And we also talked a little bit about Dramatical Murder. And I'm a big Dramatical Murder fan. I'm not ashamed. I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but it's true. And what was really funny is a lot of people don't know that, or some people do, it's been going on Tumblr for a little bit, that Sentai is doing an English dub, and it's out already. You can buy it on DVD right now if you wanted to go get it. The anime initially, it's not a good anime. Like, the anime is not good. The Dramatical Murder anime is terrible. But Greg Ayres plays Clear, and he's also the ADR director, so we'll see if the anime is good after it's been dubbed. I'm gonna go look for clips later. And so he brings it up, and apparently a lot of people didn't know that it was happening, that there was an English dub, and they're like, oh my god, English dub anime of Dramatical Murder, and I was like, I knew about it because I read the news. And he was talking about, I don't want to give anything away, but if you know the story, you know that I got kind of gypped, I think was the word he used, on playing Clear, and it's true. It really is true. Clear did not get the full ending that he deserved in the anime. And then he's like, something, episode 13, and for a Dramatical Murder fan, if you've seen episode 13, you're gonna have the exact same reaction I just did. Because he goes, episode 13. And I went, yeah, episode 13. And he responds with, you can tell the Dramatical Murder fans, because the minute you say episode 13, that's their reaction. So there we go. Now we have something all in common, apparently. But we talked about that, and we joked around about that, and there was a guy who was a Clear cosplayer, and he's like, Clear! And he got really excited, and that's always a lot of fun. My nose is itchy. And, just getting to hear him tell all these awesome stories, and someone was like, tell this story. He's like, no, I'm not gonna tell that story. You gotta get J. Michael Tatum to tell that story. And so, no, I got a story I gotta tell next time if I ever see J. Michael Tatum. And it's just always really cool going to these panels, these voice actors, and getting to hear them talk about just existing in the industry and stuff. And I didn't get to ask any of the questions I wanted to ask him, because the Q&A just went kind of weird, went really weird places. But I'm hoping I get to see him again someday. I think he comes to this con a lot. I know Chris does. And I look forward to hopefully seeing him again. Our final panel for the day, it was actually not intended to be our final panel, but I got tired. My bad. Our final panel for the day was the Funimation Industry panel. And what's really interesting about the Funimation Industry panels is they'll show trailers for stuff that's coming out on DVD soon. They'll talk a lot about the simulcast or the broadcast dubs, all that kind of good stuff. And they usually tell me a lot of stuff I already know because I follow the blog. And I'm like, I know what's going on with Funimation. You don't need to tell me. But I like getting to see the trailers. I like getting to see them right off the bat. And I'm going to put a link to the winter schedule down in the description because there were some really interesting ones coming out. I was particularly interested in seeing Nobunaga. So that'll be fun. Nobunaga. It's tiny girls with giant guns. Also things coming out on DVD soon. Got Space Dandy season 2 coming out, which is really cool. The Tokyo Ghoul Uncensored on DVD is going to come out. So none more of that shading and black and stuff. That'll be fun. The big anime that they talked about that I thought was most interesting was something called Dimension W. And it's actually, double check I got the title right. Yeah, Dimension W. And it is something that Funimation's actually going to get to be a part of the anime committee. And if you don't know how the dubbing process as a whole and the licensing process works as a whole, typically they make it over in Japan. They make it over there. They do everything they need to do. Blah. And then it gets licensed, gets brought over, it gets the dubbing treatment, whatever. Apparently Funimation's actually going to get to be involved in the original creation of the anime. The anime isn't even done yet, I guess. And so Funimation's actually going to be involved in the creation of the anime, being on the anime committee. That's really freaking cool. I don't even know what that is going to entail, because I don't, the English dubber gets to be involved in the original process. I mean, that's just really, really cool. And I think it's very indicative of the change in we're seeing anime as a whole as being a very more worldwide phenomenon. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there, because that's really, really cool that the English dubber gets to be involved in this anime as it's being created. And I really look forward to see what happens with that, where it goes. Back, from done with the first day, back in my office. Came away with, for the first day, this soup. Got my Fire Emblem game insert signed. It's gonna go, get better light, it's gonna go in the case right now. I put it back in, that's gonna go right here. And then the super awesome signed card from Mr. Calvello. This is Ashley. I love my hat so much. XO. Jessica Calvello. I like making these character cards. I got the idea from Monica Rial. And it's going to get put, it's a 4x6 card, so it's going to get put in a frame. And I will put it, but for now, it's going to live up here with my pop vinyls and my Desert Punk and Kamina prints. And I'm going to get 2 more, plan on getting 2 more tomorrow. I'm going to get my Ouran High School Host Club DVD signed, and I'm going to get character card signs from Chris Ayers and Carly Mosier. I have a couple things I gotta do tonight. I gotta relax my wig for my Roro Zoro cosplay tomorrow. I gotta make another earring because I lost one. And I gotta finish up the character cards I'm gonna get signed tomorrow. Other than that, day 1 success.